I definitely approach it from, I guess, from the chest first. Like in terms of like giving somebody a 16, I didn't necessarily come up that way with the guidance to know song structure right away. I had to learn that afterwards. Like, some artists you learn that after when someone puts you on, like, nah, you can't just do 40 bars and just keep, I had to learn that after the fact. That being said, I still give myself the same kind of creative license that I had when I was still learning. If a verse only needs 12 bars, it only needs 12 bars. If these days my songs tend to only have two verses, whereas like, coming up, you heard radio on songs on the radio and they had three verses and a hook through between everything. The song structure was a bit more formal, and I don't approach it that way now. I want to go with what feels right. At the same time, I do keep that in mind to some degree, but I want to write from a free space. I don't want to be held up. So I go for what feels right. And usually it's a visual process for me. Like I kind of see it and then say it, if that makes any sense. It's just how it's almost like I'm hearing the song as I'm writing it.
I Yo, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. So for all those crazy people out there who never heard of your boy, who ain't tapped in, they don't know what's going on. Brooklyn, New York is in the building. Give us your name and tell us what you do in a couple of seconds.
My name is Cavalier. I'm from Brooklyn, New York, currently residing in New Orleans, and I'm an artist. I am a rapper.
I like that. So let's go back to where it all started for you in Brooklyn with your moms, your pops, the dog, the cat, your brother, sister, all of that. How did you fall in love with hip hop?
I fell in love with hip hop, I think, just by the recognition that it was an expression of our culture, a culture that I was born into just by virtue of being from New York, being the child of immigrant parents in Brooklyn, New York. Is something that just was, ubiquitous. It was all around me. So, I saw the girls in my building dancing at the block party to, Stetsasonic or something. You know what I mean? I watched
Right.
LL Cool J drop Mama Say Knock You Out on Video Music Box after school, right? It's just something you didn't escape. It was the primary vehicle for the culture I had access to.
I like that. So let me ask, between your moms and your pops, your family, who was playing the music for you? Or, maybe when you come home from school, who was playing the music that got you attached to even listening to hip hop?
That's a great question. My Definitely not my parents. My parents played calypso music for the most part, not exclusively that, but Caribbean music. But I will say that I was fortunate to have a babysitter that was only a few years older than me or something like that. And him and his friends were definitely into hip hop. He hung out with Queen Afua's son, Supernova Slum. I just recently shouted him out in an interview, and I watched them as a youth. I watched Video Music Box at that home as a toddler. I watched them explore dressing alike and dancing and hip hop, expression as a child. So I probably heard the majority or saw the majority of hip hop music videos as a kid through those kind of outlets.
Okay. So for those people out there who don't know you, they're just now hearing about Cavalier. Where are your parents from? What is your actual background?
My father is born in Trinidad. My mother is born in Barbados. My father's parents, my dad's dad is from Madeira, and his mom is of Peruvian descent, and they emigrated to Trinidad.
I like that. So, being as though you got a little West Indian in your family, what's on the table for Thanksgiving? Is it curry goat, curry chicken, roti? Is it everything? What's on the table
Yeah,
during
it,
Thanksgiving?
it's a lot of things. It's funny. I feel like Caribbean people in Brooklyn make some of the best Italian food, you know. My mom makes a mean eggplant parmesan. She like I've seen her serve it to Italian people and then be like, wow, blown away by it. But you'll see that. There used to be a holiday ham, of course. Rice and peas absolutely would be going on. It just depends. Fish, baked fish, fried fish, stewed. My family does eat goat. I'm vegetarian, but my family definitely eats goat. So you can see a little bit of everything these days for sure.
Okay. All right. All right. Well said. Well said. So let me ask you this. I was checking out your style, doing my due diligence, doing my research, all of that. You kind of have like an old school rap feel to me, kind of like a Wu-Tang Clan, that kind of thing. What's up? Who would you say Cavalier's style is maybe similar to? I know you're doing your own thing, obviously, but who do people say you sound like?
I haven't recently gotten any comparisons on who I sound like, but I definitely hear a lot of feedback like that I nod at those eras, I guess you would say, which is definitely intentional, kid growing up in the 90s, how could you not taken the era of the golden era, right? Some of the greats. I definitely was inspired by Wu-Tang and Nas and prolific lyricists of the time. I tended to gravitate more towards, I guess you could say, lyric, not I mean, music that had a focus on lyrics that made impact. You know what I mean? And also the combination of that with production, I think that felt, I guess, timeless in the sense, like I feel like the 90s into the early 2000s, not the last of this era, but that's the era where producers were still sampling the music of their parents. You know what I'm saying? So we still had a strong connection to like the soul music greats and the R&B music greats of our parents' era. You saw that reflected in our music production still, or the music that we heard growing up. So I think we still have that clear line to kind of know where the sounds are coming from.
Okay, well said, well said, well said. So, as an artist, lyricist, all of that, what's your writing style when you are writing a hook? I don't know, writing a verse, giving somebody 16. What is Cavalier's writing style?
I definitely approach it from, I guess, from the chest first. Like in terms of like giving somebody a 16, I didn't necessarily come up that way with the guidance to know song structure right away. I had to learn that afterwards. Like, some artists you learn that after when someone puts you on, like, nah, you can't just do 40 bars and just keep, I had to learn that after the fact. That being said, I still give myself the same kind of creative license that I had when I was still learning. If a verse only needs 12 bars, it only needs 12 bars. If these days my songs tend to only have two verses, whereas like coming up, you heard radio on songs on the radio and they had three verses and a hook through between everything. The song structure was a bit more formal, and I don't approach it that way now. I want to go with what feels right. At the same time, I do keep that in mind to some degree, but I want to write from a free space. I don't want to be held up. So I go for what feels right. And usually it's a visual process for me. Like I kind of see it and then say it, if that makes any sense. It's just how it's almost like I'm hearing the song as I'm writing it.
Okay, okay. So, growing up in New York and stuff like that, I was born in Queens myself. They do have battle rap in New York. Oh,
Mhm.
what's up? Your first battle rap, I don't know if you had one. Did the MC eat you alive or did Cavalier eat him alive? What's up? What happened in your first time you ever did battle rap?
I actually did explore battle rap come uppings in New York in the early 2000s, mid 2000s, I guess you could say, or mid aughts, in my come uppings. I was learning around that period. And I absolutely explored battle rap. And fortunately, I was more on the side of victory than I was on the side of loss. I had a couple rivalries even with some MCs, one from Harlem. Damn, I haven't thought about it so long. Mr. Vane Lane. I don't know where that brother is. Shout outs to Mr. Vane Lane. But what it did put me onto was showmanship. I had more success in battling and freestyle. See, in that period, it wasn't like now the format, you had to rap on a beat. It wasn't like now where it's more like almost like hip hop vaudeville. You know what I mean? Like you go in there now in the battle and it's not on a beat. It's almost like hip hop monologue. You know what I mean? When I did battling, you had to do it on a beat and it was more impromptu. And I think there was just a different flex of the skill set, because if
Mm.
you mess up on a beat, it's very revealing. You know what I mean? So that put me on to just showmanship and learning how to build a rapport with the audience, with the crowd live. Because I had my first stints with performing doing that. I wasn't in the studio yet. I learned that later
Mm.
on. My journey started with performing before I even formally was introduced to the booth.
Okay, 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 okay. All right. So let me ask you this. You had a feature with Raekwon, came on and did something nice with you, nice project. How did you get the feature with Raekwon? And was that an element of you being maybe starstruck? I don't know. Were you starstruck when you got the feature from Raekwon?
I wasn't starstruck, but I'm absolutely a fan. I'm absolutely influenced by his style and the precedent that he set in the game as a writer, you know what I mean, and a storyteller. And it was the combination of timing, luck, and being ready. I was ready for it at that moment. At least I felt so. Collaborators of mine working on that particular project were around Raekwon, but also knew that I was in the midst of an album and they must have either pitched it to him or mentioned it. But when they contacted me real time while being in the studio with him, like, yo, we really, we want to try to get you a joint with Raekwon. And my response was, I already got the song, and I sent them the song and he must have heard the song because I got a verse that night. You know what I'm saying? And it was off the love and they sent me the acapella, everything. It was so whatever I did was either impressive enough or establishing enough where I recently said this in an interview. It's not like I got to throw. I mean, I don't think Raekwon even does throw away verses, but like he went in on my shit. You know what I'm saying? And I went in on my shit too. So it was one of those. And I think I envision the Wu as being people so dedicated to the craft that they will always recognize real. You know what I mean?
Facts, facts, facts. So let me ask you this. Did you get a chance to, I don't know, maybe talk to him before he hopped on the track? It was like, look, this shit better be nice. Did that happen or you guys just sent it over and he
Straight
just did his thing?
the music did all the talking. And that's
Mm.
it. That was it. We spoke through intermediaries and the music did all the talking. And when I tell you that night, they gave me the call and I showed I was ready. And that night I got my verse.
Okay, 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 okay. All right. So let me ask you this. Now that you're doing your thing and you're rapping, you're doing things with Raekwon, any plans to have any maybe future tours out there for Cavalier or any up and coming artists you're looking forward to working with?
Yeah, I actually been touring off and on since late summer. I did late summer, I did fall, and I did the beginning of this year. And I'll be on tour pretty much almost the entire month of May through the Northeast and the Midwest. And then at the end of the month, I'll hit a couple cities in the South. I'll be in Orlando, Atlanta. Those will be the only southern cities. But I think I hit something like 15 cities in May.
Okay, I like that. So I'm gonna slightly change the gear a little bit in reference to the touring.
Okay.
When you're dealing with women, right? You let them know that you touring here, you going over here, you going over there. The pretty boy of hip hop. Is it tough for the woman to be like, "Yo, I'm rocking with Cavalier, knowing you're traveling, and I don't know, you might have some groupie out there." Is that tough for them to rock with you?
I don't know. I didn't know I was no pretty boy hip hop. I tend to be pretty focused on the road. Typically, I don't know if it's TMI. I typically be celibate on the road, keeping it a buck. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I'm really about the show. I'm more comfortable, on stage than I am kind of in the crowd. I like interacting with the crowd and I get to have genuine moments with them, which usually tends to happen after the show. Like at the merch table, people will come up and discuss the vinyls that I've put out and stuff like that. And I like meaningful experiences, and I guess that translates to dating or whatever you want to call it too. I'm not really into even if we are going to have a moment, I want it to be a real moment. So if that happens, that happens, but I tend to be focused on the mission. You know what I mean? But if you meet incredible people, I'm open to that, but it's more about the actual build for me.
All right, ladies, you hear that? Cavalier, even when he's on the road, he is celibate. You gotta respect that. I like that.
Yo, this your boy Kenny D. Hey, I didn't mean to interrupt your show, but I just want to take a quick second, quick minute, just to let you guys know. If you want to see more dope interviews like this one, make sure you go on YouTube and check out Pimp Game Podcast. All right? And don't forget about our website, pimpgamepodcast.com, to see all your latest Pimp Game episodes. All right? We got you. Man, I'm done talking. Back to the show.
Now you're rapping, you're doing your thing. Give me Cavalier's top 5 rappers right now in the game.
Mm,
Cavalier's top 5 rappers right now in the game.
I'm bad at lists, but I listen to my peers that I'm inspired by. So I would say Quelle Chris, and for the record, I don't know if everyone knows these artists. So I hope that they may not know of me, but I hope they take it with a grain of salt to check some of these artists out. If you don't know, because they're all critically acclaimed. So Grammy nominated Quelle Chris for sure. Billy Woods and his duo, which is with him and Elucid, Arm and Hammer. These are critically acclaimed artists. Who else have I been checking out recently? Earl Sweatshirt, of course. Shout outs to Earl. There's an artist out of Philly named Logi, who's super dope, who's gonna drop soon. Fly Anakin from Virginia is amazing. I don't know if that's 5. And Maroof from Jersey. He's in Los Angeles right now. But these are all artists who are incredible. They're critically acclaimed. They've dropped albums that have made impact. So they're all great artists to check for.
Okay, well said, well said, well said. So, in the midst of those artists that you like, any honorable mentions? Maybe one that somebody may not be thinking about that you could throw out there?
Honorable mentions, man. There's so many. Oh, Pink Seafood. I can't even. No, Pink Seafood's my guy. He should have been on that list earlier. I mean, Pink Seafood's just super dynamic. He just dropped a mixtape, and this is an artist that puts out projects in multiple genres. Denmark Vesey, I should have named him as well. And again, some of y'all may not know some of these artists, but they're all critically acclaimed. If you don't know them directly, I'm sure they've written for and or produced or collaborated with some of your favorite artists, some of the best artists in the game. Some of them are Grammy nominated. So I'm vocal about the sincere pool of talent that I'm around. I'm very fortunate to be amidst a lot of that talent.
So, New Orleans, you're there now. Master P, Juvenile, Lil Wayne, all of that. That's their stomping grounds. What's up? How's the rapping scene in New Orleans?
The rap scene here is rich. It's actually richer than people know about and that what they would imagine. People know about Currency. They obviously know about the Legacy, No Limit, and Cash Money, and all the commercial artists who found success. But man, there's a strong rap scene here. I just wish there were more access points to it and that more people knew about it. But if you dig, you can definitely find it. Yeah, like great street rap, introspective rap, you name it. There's a lot of artists here in New Orleans. It's a small city, I think, smaller than people realize, but the wealth of talent here is tremendous.
Okay. I like that. So, one thing everybody does know, or New Orleans for, is the food over there. What's up? Any spots you could tell the viewers at home to go to when they come to New Orleans?
Yeah, I'm vegetarian, so moving here, that was a bit of a battle. The food that New Orleans is known for is not necessarily that. Fortunately, there's some great businesses and black-owned businesses at that have broadened the dining experience here. Ital Garden is a fave. Who else, man? There's a few. Cafe Abyssinia, the Ethiopian spots out here are good. There's another one called like Food for Thought or something like that, plant-based spot. Just really, I tend to rock with those.
Okay, so you said you're vegetarian.
Mhm.
Let me ask you this, because I'm not sure if it's true, but I've heard it, so I gotta ask you since you're vegetarian. Is vegetarian or someone being vegetarian and someone being vegan, is that different?
Is it different? Yeah, absolutely. Vegan is a whole philosophy. It's not just your diet. Vegans typically by definition don't like wear leather. You know what I'm saying? They don't use any animal products, right? Like,
Mhm.
which is why, but I'm not vegan, so I consume honey. Honey is made by living creatures. It's made by bees. Usually vegans don't rock with honey because it's made by, it's still an animal byproduct. So I consume, honey. I consume things cooked in butter. You know what I mean? I'm not strict in those ways. I also eat eggs. I do eat eggs. Not all the
Okay,
time.
okay.
Eggs, yeah.
All right. Well said, well said. So today's quick topic of the show is BG, also a New Orleans rapper. He was locked up. Now he out, but he's facing jail time again for going out and doing a tour. His parole officer didn't like it, told him to do something other than rap. But
Well,
rap is all he knows. That's all he knows. What's Cavalier's thoughts on the BG situation and him really facing prison time again to going back to jail for going on tour with Boosie? What's your thoughts on that?
that's awful. I didn't know that, first of all. So shout outs to BG, and I really pray, that works out. Yeah, I didn't know that. Our city is small, so our communities tend to be small. So this is a brother, who has active family out here and relatives. So aside from the superstar aspect of it, that's a brother who did his time and has now returned home, and it's now seeming kind of like, I don't know the details, but it just seems like one of those things where the system is ready to snag somebody off a technicality. But again, I don't know those details. So prayers out to that brother, because to have done your time and to come back to society, it's not like he's doing something positive, man. He's making art, he's continuing his legacy, which is already a major imprint on hip hop and the culture. So to put brakes on that would be tragic, man. You know what I'm saying?
Well said, well said, well said. So, are there any artists maybe you're looking to work with in the near future that's out there? Maybe, I don't know, Little Baby or The Baby, whatever, whoever, Drake, anybody that Cavalier is looking to work with?
I'm open, man. I want to do collab. Like, I don't know any of those artists that you named, you know what I'm saying? But I'm super open to whoever, is moving forward with the music. I'm not, despite the fact that I may exist in one particular, I guess, niche, so to speak, that doesn't mean that's the only niche in which I want to create. Those are things that are defined by like the platforms and how they kind of segment the audiences. But us as listeners, even, you might listen to Kendrick and you might listen to Boosie. That don't mean that you got a split personality. It means that you got broad taste, right? You listen to different things for different moments. So in that same regard, as an artist, I want to be able to express that I'm a human that has different facets and different perspectives. I could still be me on a track with Drake or whoever, and I could still be me on a track with Larry June or fucking Kendrick or whatever. Excuse my language. You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't have any specific aspirations, but I'd be game for. I'm about the song. If we making a dope song, it could be whoever. As long as you're not so ideologically off where I'm from. You talking about murdering our people or anything like to that level. But even a little gun. I think street rap is forever. You know what I mean? And despite how articulate I'm described, I still rap about smoking weed in the street that I came from, etc. You know what I mean? I may not be murdering nobody in my music, but it don't mean that I don't do music with people who rap about that. I'm not closed in that way. I make dope music, and there's a lot of perspectives and a lot of stories to tell from the music, which is just a byproduct of the culture, and there's many facets to that. So I'm game with whoever down to do some dope shit.
Okay, 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 okay. So, any new projects that Cavalier has going on right now that we could look forward to in the near future?
Oh man, in the super near future, I don't know when this airs, but my album, Different Type Time, is dropping April 19th on Backwoods Records. Backwoods has a hot hand right now with critically acclaimed, formerly dubbed Underground or alternative hip hop music, but that a lot of which has been really making its marks. My first release with a label. We dropped a few singles over the last few weeks, but the most recent one called 50 Bags came out last Friday. Just seeing the tweet about it go viral. You know, Earl Sweatshirt, among others, have been tweeting it. I'm hoping that translates to the audience and to the streams, etc. But also, you know, I've been known to provide my art direct to fans, so I'm not totally dependent on the streams. It's a great tool. But yeah, single came out last Friday, 50 Bags. Go check that out, which is gonna be on Different Type Time, the full-length album, April 19th. It's 21 tracks. It's like a hour's worth of music. I didn't pull any punches on that, you know. And I got other projects coming out this year as well.
I like that. I like that. Hard working guy in the business. I like that. I really respect that. So, in terms of music and maybe songwriters, someone want you to be featured on their album, or maybe, I don't know, they want to do a collab with you, whatever, or they want to write for you, how do they get in contact with Cavalier?
Well, they wouldn't be writing for me, but if they're writing with me and music with me, yeah, I have a management that I'm working with. Usually you can access me through my Instagram, which is Cav Wins. I'm at Cav Wins on every platform. That's Instagram, Twitter, Threads. I also am cavwins.com. I even got a hotline. You can call me at 888-200-8409. I got a hotline. You can leave a message on there. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, there's a lot of ways to reach me, or just bookings at cavwins.com and someone will respond.
Hold on. Before they call the hotline, what's up? What's on this hotline? Because I actually like that idea. What's on the hotline?
Well, the hotline is in conjunction with the record Different Type Time. So it actually goes to a beeper. It pages me when people call it. And people just been either paging it or they've been leaving messages in support of the record or all kinds of weird messages we've been getting on there. I have a telethon that's gonna drop soon. I don't know if I can announce it yet, but there'll be a stream telethon that I'll be doing late April before I go on tour. And also for those in the New York area, we're gonna soon announce a limited capacity event at a space with a cannabis lounge in Brooklyn. That'll be April 30th, on Tuesday, April 30th. So yeah, the hotline is just a way to stay informed and just leave me a shout out on some old school shit, like just like on some video music box shit, you know? So they could call a
I
hotline.
like that. So you mentioned cannabis. Can we expect something like, I know Method Man has his weed line out there called Takal and
Now,
stuff like that? Wiz Khalifa. Can we expect Cavalier to have his own weed dispensary type thing going on where it could be delivered to fans?
I've done collaborations in the past. I've done some custom collaborations with delivery companies in LA. I did a collaboration with another brand. I recently did a hoodie drop called Bring Back Weed Spots, and that worked in
I like that.
collaboration with some cannabis brands and providers. But I haven't been shy about being a supporter of the black market too. You know, I know a lot about what's happening in the industry of cannabis, and not a lot of it is positive these days. And our community, the black and brown communities, tend to be usually not as informed on the choices we're making with cannabis. So yes, I would like to be in the industry in some ways, potentially a strain and all of that, but I would like to be even more involved if possible, maybe on the side of advocacy or just informing our, communities on how to make better choices with their cannabis use.
Okay. I like that. Well said. So, for all those people out there who've been rocking with you since Brooklyn, since your first rap battle, since working with Raekwon, all of that, touring, any shout outs or final thoughts for your fans before we sign off on Pimp Game?
Yeah, I just want to say thank y'all. Anyone who's been rocking with me that long, it does matter. I've had the same, ad handles. I've had the same website for a long time. And I tend to make pieces of art that are more like Thanksgiving dinners than they are microwavable meals. And sometimes, the feedback on that or the process takes a bit longer. but it's much longer lasting. So if you've been rocking with me since then, from the beginning, I really appreciate that. And just really shout out to all the listeners, the true listeners of hip hop.
All right, all right, all right. So before I let you go, tell everybody who you chilling with.
Yo, what's up? This is Cavalier. I'm chilling with Kenny D on the Pimp Game podcast.
All right. And that concludes our show for this evening. But before I let you go, I'd like to thank all my viewers out there, as well as my YouTube lovers. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. That's right. You're going to subscribe and make sure you turn those notifications on so when we upload videos, you are the first to get it. And last but not least, we'd like to thank the one and only Brooklyn's finest. That's right, the pretty boy of hip hop, Cavalier, for blessing us with his presence on the show. All right, see you next time on Pimp Game. You don't want to miss it. Holla.